Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. As a teacher, I was always curious what happens in the classroom next to me. Now being here at University of Warwick gave me an opportunity to have a quick peek in the classrooms around the world. And today we have Jiali. She is a teacher from Malaysia. So hello Jiali and thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you, Suyo, for giving the opportunity to be interviewed. So I am Jiali, or my student will call me Miss Lim. I am a primary school teacher, teaching in a rural school in Sarawak, Malaysia. So if you are not familiar, Sarawak is the Borneo side of Malaysia. So it's not the West Malaysia, it's the East Malaysia. Alright, so I want to talk about my classroom. Okay, so what happened was that classroom sizes in Malaysia are usually varied. So in my classroom in a rural school, so I have about 34 students in one class. Of that classroom, the kind of classroom arrangement or kind of the table and chair arrangements are quite traditional, I would say. It's not that we are not making it towards the kind of group, but because the space are very limited, so it's already very crowded and it's very stuffy. And another thing is that when the pandemic period, we have to separate the table based on the inches, and it's still that kind of style that has not been changing, but it's not going to stay there. But there are different kind of things that affect the kind of sitting table and chair arrangement. However, I would not say that that will stop you from doing group work or kind of pair work, which I think in my context would be like, you know what, group work, pair work, you have to sit like in a group, in a chair with 4 people. No, it's not. You don't reach it in that kind of things. Yeah.
Thank you very much for sharing all this and thanks a lot. So I was thinking going down the memory lane and thinking you as a student. So could you tell about your schooling experience, like when your education started and things like that?
Oh, yeah, sure. So, everyone will have to attend at least 1 year of kindergarten, and then the public elementary school is compulsory, so which you will enter year 1 when the children are 7 years old. Year 1 is 7 years old, and until the end of the primary school, which is year 6, which they are all 12 years old. So the children will start the secondary school when they are 13 years old and will end their high school when they are 17 years old, so for the 5 years period. So at the end of 5 years, the high school, where they call it Form 5, so Form 1, Form 2, Form 3, Form 4, Form 5. Form 5 is the end of the high school, so everyone has to sit for the high school leaving certificate, so they call it SPM. And then you will have to go either to the diplomas or the degrees or the kind of A-levels if you are choosing to go overseas or some other things.
Okay, so if I get it correctly, you have 1 year of kindergarten, 6 years of primary education, and then 5 years of secondary education.
Yeah, true.
Okay, and it was the same with you?
Yeah, it's the same as me. Yeah.
Okay, so the school you entered, around how many students were there in your classroom?
I remember it's about, primary school is about 30 plus.
Okay.
I studied in a primary school where it is a mission school. So it is a mission school which they converted into a national school. And then in secondary school, I also have that kind of like 30 plus students. It's also a mission school. And and I'm also working in a mission school, in a rural school. So the kind of mission school is, the name of the school will be different, and it has a kind of like historical background, and it has kind of some effects on the administration, but the national curriculums are all the same.
Okay, so you spoke about mission school. Are there other types of school as well?
Yeah, they are. So if this is the kind of special things in Malaysia. So if you are not familiar with, so in primary school you can choose your kind of medium of instruction, I would say. So generally there are three kinds of medium of instruction. So the first kind is national school. So they call it sekolah kebangsaan in Malay school. It is in the Malay language. So SK, and you see the word SK. So it is national type school in English. So what is happening in that school, national type school, is that the medium of instruction is in Malay language. So the second type of school is national type, Chinese national type school. So what happened in that school, you can see that it is SJKC. So Chinese national type school is where you will learn Mandarin. Your math and science will be in Mandarin. So you have more emphasis on a kind of medium of instruction. So like the kind of medium instruction, I would say the language you preferred. And of course you can talk about the kind of different culture, I would say, because every school has different cultures, right?
Yeah.
So that was the first is national type school. The second is Chinese national type school. And the third is Tamil national type school. So that school you can learn Tamil language. There are teachers teaching math and science in Tamil. So there is no restriction that Chinese has to go to Chinese school, Malay has to go to Malay school, Indian has to go to Tamil school. No, you are not saying like that. And then because actually you cannot categorize people like that anymore.
True.
So you can say that I go to national type school, which is Malay school, and they will call it the Malay medium of instruction. So I don't learn Mandarin. So it's my choice, my parents' choice to put your children which type of medium of instruction you want to put in. Okay, that is the kind of they have kind of historical background, but generally there's three types. Of course, there are others like if I'm not mistaken, this is called religion-based, like Agama, Islam, those kind of type school, or they are private school. But those three main ones are all government state school.
So as I get it, as you're speaking about medium of instruction, you spoke there are some schools having Malay as medium of instruction, Mandarin as medium of instruction, and Tamil as medium of instruction. Are there some schools having English as a medium of instruction?
These are all, it's private school, I would say. And of course, if you see different kind of schools, like I would say that they are trying to put everyone in national schools, trying to get the kind of English, the kind of speaking English, because recently in 2020, they changed the medium of instruction, the language to teach math and science from Malay to English. So everyone in Sarawak will learn math and science in English. So they are trying to kind of like cultivate the kind of English language medium kind of thing.
So this English language for maths and science, this is for all three types of school, is it?
No, it's only for
national
national school.
Okay, so you spoke about maths and science. Apart from maths and science, when you were a student, what other subjects did you study?
Oh, okay. So, so I will talk about my studies and now the changes. So what happened was that when I was studying, during the year 1, year 2, year 3, they call it lower primary school. I only studied Malay, English, math, science, and moral education, and they call it physical education.
Okay.
And that's it. No more.
History, geography?
No, I don't have. No, you don't have. So what happened when I was studying that was, and then when I was studying, when I was studying is that. So what happened was that's a very good question. When the students that I was teaching, they learned more than me when I was learning. So what has the students that now that I was teaching, they have, of course, Malay, English, math, science, history, moral education, physical education, music education, and what the other thing? That's called maybe technology, the kind of things, and they have more than me.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah, they have more than me.
So generally, there used to be around 30-35 students. You have these subjects, and like you studied in the mission school for the first 6 years.
Yeah.
And after you completed your primary education, did you continue in the same school or you changed your school?
Change.
Okay.
You have to change school.
Yeah. So
There isn't. I think I don't really see the kind of like combine. Like this is the primary school, you go to the secondary school at the same kind of area. No, usually you have to go. They call it feeder. So means one primary school, the feeder will be certain kind of secondary school.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can choose.
Okay.
But you have to go different places.
Okay. So what about you? Like, could you tell more about your experience? Which school were you, and more like what subjects were there?
Oh, okay. Secondary schools are not really. I mean, yeah, they are more. But so, of course, because I do not take Mandarin, so Malay, English, math, science. There was lower secondary school, history, geography, and then moral education, and then all those arts, and then physical education, and that's a few.
Yeah. And how many students were there in your classroom?
It's about 30, 34.
Even in the secondary classes
Yeah,
as well?
it's about that size.
So like when you in your primary classes, was there a single teacher teaching all subjects, or were there?
It's all I like the question because yours you come off like generalist and specialist. So in the education system in Malaysia, every teachers are specialist teachers. So I'm trained as an English teacher, so I got a degree in teaching English as a second language for primary education. So I was assigned to a school, so they tag it, they call it this. I have the specialty of teaching English, but it does not mean that I only teach one.
True.
I also teach science in English. And you can be, especially in primary school, you can also be teaching other subjects which are not your kind of specialty. Yeah, but as they are trained, as I was trained, everyone was trained in Malaysia, we train as a specialist.
And even if when you were a student, you had different teachers for different subjects?
Yeah. We had different teachers.
So that's quite different in India.
Yeah.
And even at the secondary level, you had
Yes.
the same thing.
Everyone was like specialized.
So, as Pio was telling, he has some matriculation exam at the end of secondary school. Do you also have that type of exam?
Not matriculation, was like high school leaving certificates.
Okay,
They
and
call
is
it
that
SPF.
exam, like, does that exam involve high stakes?
Yeah, yes, it is. It is high step. It is high step. It can divide it into two kind or three kind, but what I know was they are social and science part.
Oh, yeah.
So social science students took different subject from the science students. So they're kind of different because you have to stream them, right?
Okay, so after this HSC higher secondary school certificate exam, you can go to different streams like maybe social science, maybe
Oh no,
science.
I mean when you are in a secondary school, you have Form 1, Form 2, Form 3. So when they are Form 3, after finishing your Form 3, they will split you into two groups.
Okay.
You have social science group and science group. So Form 4, Form 5, you will have to choose your streams. So like me, I took the science stream. So I will study, besides the basics, like basics are, I took 10 subjects. So BM, Malay, English, moral education, history, yeah. And then the kind of specific one for the science streams will be like additional maths, physics, chemistry, biology, and I took accounting also.
Okay.
So
okay.
you can somehow like,
Yeah, okay. So it starts at Form 4.
Yeah, you Form
Form
4.
4 and Form 5.
Yeah, yeah.
And based on this, you appear for that high school exam.
Yeah, high school exam.
And what happens after that exam?
You
Like,
go
what
to
hap-
everywhere you want to go.
What happened in
Oh,
your
so
case?
for me, so for me was that I choose to enter teacher training college.
Okay.
So I directly go into teacher training college.
And was it based on the selection was it based on your marks for the higher secondary?
I think so.
Okay.
I think so because so if you may read or if you have read about Malaysians, so they have the kind of like scholarship that government provided. So those who are being selected, you can go and continue the kind of teacher training college. So there are about 27 different colleges.
Oh my god.
So they are all over Malaysia. So when they kind of open the kind of application, they have different criteria. So I remember I have to take a kind of inventory, the kind of personality inventory test, and then I have to have one interviews before I was selected to enter the kind of teacher training college. But now they added another one which is called physical test. So you have to
Physically fit to be a
so
teacher.
yeah, you have to first take a personality test, and then you have to go for physical test. If you have not, if you don't pass the kind of physical test, you will not be able to go to interview. After interview, you will know that you are being selected or not.
Okay. And for how long does one have to study to be a teacher? And are there different types of degrees to be a teacher?
If you choose to study, if you enter the kind of teacher training college that I say, like me, you can only teach primary school.
Okay.
So your certificate is very, very specific. So what happened was that the kind of teacher training college only offer one kind of bachelor, which is Bachelor of Teaching, not Bachelor of Arts or not Bachelor of Education, Bachelor of Teaching English as a second language, primary education.
Okay.
So it's very specific. So you can only go to primary schools.
And how long was that course?
I took 5.5 years.
Okay.
So 1.5 year for my foundation and 4 years for my degree in the same institution.
Okay. And apart from this course, are there other courses provided to be a teacher? Like maybe for other streams or something like that?
You can go to what is that? The public university or other type of private university. But the thing is that they will not guarantee that you will be assigned to the public schools. So what is that happening is that in the kind of, because I was sponsored by the government, so they wanted me to serve. So I am guaranteed a job after graduation.
That's really great.
Yeah. That's you will get assigned to.
As soon as you were selected to be a student of that college, you were sure that you are going to have a job.
Yeah,
That was
basically
amazing.
that's it.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Really great. Okay, so So since you are from English background, so you got English specialism. If there is someone who is from Malay who wants to be a teacher of Malay, does he have to follow the same process?
If he wants or she wants to teach in a primary school context, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, you can go that route, but you can go the other kinds also.
Could you elaborate what other kinds?
So sometimes they have openings like now, although that the government are providing scholarship for the teachers. I mean, they train them for a long time.
Yeah.
They posted to the school, they assigned to the school. But the thing is that the school teachers are never enough.
Okay.
So it still have a lot of the kind of vacancies. The reason being the heavy workload, so that some teachers are retired early.
Yeah.
Some teachers just left very sadly, and it causes a kind of huge gap between the kind of there are no teachers in, so they started to open kind of vacancy. So those who have a kind of university bachelor of education in whatever subject, they can enter. They can like going to the same, which is aptitude test, physical test, interview, and then before they can in, they can get in. Yeah, they can get in.
That's interesting. Thank you very much. So, so as I'm like recapitulating, like you started with your primary education, secondary education, your degree. Could you tell more about your working experience, like your first appointment and your job?
Oh yeah, that's a good question. So, I finished my degree, Bachelor of Teaching, in 2017. So I started my first job in a rural school in Kapit, Sarawak. The thing is very uniquely, maybe you are familiar or you are not familiar with, is that I do not have a choice to choose where I'm going to. So it's like the letter came, Tanang, the name of the school, and you had to report to work the next week. So yeah, I'm quite fortunate that I am posted to a rural school, which is quite a huge school, which averages about 700 students.
Oh my God.
So 1 year, mean year one have 4 classes, so average about 30 to 34 or maximum 40 students.
Around 120 to 150 students.
Yeah, for per grade, you will say per year or per grade. So when I entered the school, the first year that I was teaching is because I entered in February. So the school started in January. I entered in February. What happened was that they don't allow me to teach English, which is very funny. And then what they sent me to do is they asked me to teach science year 6.
Okay.
So I taught science and math year 6. Math year 1 and year 2. Science year 6, which is quite a pressure because I'm not trained to teach science actually. I don't know how to teach science. And the science is in Malay language. So they haven't converted yet. So that will be another story. So the second year I taught year 1. So I bring a class. So I thought I was the class teacher, and then I was teaching English. And then when that was the year where they have the kind of dual language program, so that they're teaching math and science in English. So I teach them the year 1 class. I'm the class teacher. I'm the English teacher. I'm the science teacher.
Okay.
So yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. Again, remember you speaking about the textbooks that you follow Cambridge for international books. Could you tell more about that?
Okay, so that's a very interesting one because I think early 2017 they changed because the new curriculum changed, the new policy, a new curriculum, they mapped all the kind of content standard, learning standard, the kind of curriculum, syllabus, everything to the CFR. So what they decided was that they bring in new textbooks. So they change everything from the kind of from the kind of everything. So they wrote they will follow everything CFR, which is surprisingly, I don't think it is communicative language teaching. I think it is action oriented approach, which is more to communicative. And then textbooks are all communicative. I mean, yeah, it's kind of communicative, which a lot of structures, but this year one, surprisingly, you will be finding very interesting, which is year one to form 5, you will have all Cambridge books. So the full syllabus or all overseas textbooks.
Is it same for each and every subject, or only for English?
Only for English.
And what about other subjects?
They are locally produced books.
Only for English you use Cambridge books?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
They really revamp everything, but it does not mean that it's all good. So I very clarify here that you bring everything from Cambridge does not mean everything will work well. Yeah, I have to clarify.
But I mean, still, they are trying to get the best international thing. That's quite interesting thing. I mean,
yeah, they are trying very hard to kind of like I would say internationalize the English language.
That's a good step. So could you tell a few interesting initiatives that you found can be useful to others as well from your context? That can be your school, that can be your own, that can be your government's.
Initiatives, you mean?
Like any program, any policy, or any activity?
I think the kind of course, I will not say that it's all good, but I would really wanted to say that the good thing about the good thing about new things is, of course, first thing is that I think it is good is the textbook, but not all textbook. Some of the textbook are good, but not without criticism. So I think the part where it compares to the kind of locally produced book, because locally produced books are too difficult for the kind of students, and when the new textbook coming in, the kind of Cambridge textbook, it is easier for the students, especially in a rural school, to kind of get what they want, and especially, I mean, getting something out of it. But it does not mean that that textbook is good for every context, which I would argue that it may not be appropriate for the urban schools, which are more exposed to everything. I would say that the kind of textbook, easier one, very kind of colorful, I mean, Cambridge are very colorful, and of course it's very expensive, and then it's very useful for the kind of children in a rural context where they find it not that tough. They can say, I like English, which I'm very proud of.
Lovely.
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah. Anything else you want to share?
Basically, I understand from Suyok that Indian contexts have the kind of state rules, that you have rules for you can do something in your state. But in my context, I have to be very centralized. I have to follow only one Ministry of Education from the kind of center, you call it. I can't do much. So basically, I don't know. I don't really think that they have the kind of program that really impacted me, I would say. If you wanted to talk about kind of they want to have parents involved in the kind of children's education, there is one kind of one program which is called highly immersive program. Highly immersive program, HIP they call it program. So what happened was that the schools and the community work together. They kind of create or make some programs, whatever programs, invited parents and then do together. That this the kind. Some schools did it very well, but some schools does not. So it can be arguably yes and no. But there's one kind of program that you can see something.
That's really useful. Thank you very much for spending time, and thank you very much for this interview. And thank you very much for providing this place for interview as well. Thank you very much.
Bye.
See you. Bye bye.